Uh, Hello, everyone. My name is Samia Ashraf. I am a mobile engineer and a Google developer expert in Flutter and Dart. And I'm also a Women Tech Makers ambassador. And today I will be talking about a topic on Flutter Web, where in this session we are going to discuss and see if Flutter Web is production ready in 2025. So, let us look at our agenda today. So, we'll start with a quick overview on Flutter Web and Flutter in general, after which we are going to see the advantages of using Flutter and Flutter Web, following which we are going to discuss some of the improvements that were made in Flutter in the year 2025 and how it has improved Flutter Web's performance. Finally, we are going to take some takeaway points and see if and discuss and see if Flutter Web is production ready in 2025 or not. So this is our agenda for today, and let me now begin with a quick overview. So as we all know, Flutter keeps coming out with updates every it's very frequent updates. So over the past year, Flutter Web has undergone major improvements, and these improvements have ranged from areas like performance to impeller rendering to SEO and also platform integration. So, all these areas have seen major improvements over the year, and this has impacted and improved Flutter Web's performance with every update. So, because of which Flutter Web has become a viable choice for making for many applications. So, initially, when Flutter Web was started, it was at the very basic level where you couldn't build applications for more than like a single page application or like a portfolio application because these factors were lacking a lot. So, if we talk about performance, initially we did not have hot reload, so which was a very big factor. And also the rendering, as we all know, the laggy rendering was a big problem in scrolling as well. And coming to SEO is still a very hot topic, I can say. But over the year, with many updates, SEO has massively improved. But when Flutterweb had initially started, it was very basic. And also the platform integration. So, native code implementation has again seen a lot of support from Flutterweb, and because of all of these factors, we can now safely say that we can build applications using the Flutter web. And in this session, we are exactly going to discuss all these factors in detail. So, next, for all the new beginners here, I just want to describe what Flutter is. We can call Flutter at I like to call Flutter as a cross platform wonder, because with a single code base you can run application on multiple platforms. So for iOS and Android, that is for the mobile platform, and for the desktop platform we have Flutter support for Windows, Mac OS, and also Linux. For web browsers through high performance WebAssembly, and also embedded devices and IoT platforms. So, in this session, we are going to focus more on the Flutter web and the updates that it has seen. So, this is what Flutter is. You write a single code base, and with the minor tweaks, you can write platform code as well and make it run on multiple platforms. So, now let us see some of the advantages of the single code base. So, as we all know, single code base running for multiple platforms is the huge benefit is the cost effectiveness, and also time consumption. This is not going to consume a lot of time because you only write a single code that runs on multiple platforms. So it's a cost effective way, and it also consumes less time. Same Dart code base for the web, mobile, and desktop applications. Now, you might ask me, what if I had to write what if my Android app and iOS app had different, um, it should behave in different way for different use cases. Now, that is again possible with minor tweaks where we can write native code. So for Android, that would be Java or Kotlin. You can write some native code for Android using Java or Kotlin, and for iOS we can write using Swift, and it's still going to run, and you can have different behavior for both Android and iOS, but the code base remains the same. That is the Dart code base. So this is how we can maintain same code base for mobile, web, desktop. And if you want to add extra support, then you can write native code and make it work. So in in the 2025 updates, Flutter Web has also seen some improvements for platform code where there is added support to make it run natively, to make it run better natively. And one of the advantages of single code base is that when the change is applied, it is applied to all the platforms and not just one. So let's say you are developing an app and there is a separate code base for Android and iOS, that is your native code base. Then, if you have to apply a change, then you have to apply separately for both Android and iOS, and not just a change. Even if it is a bug fix, it's the same. You have to apply to them separately. So with Flutter, that is not a problem because since we're using the same code base, applying an update or adding an update or adding a bug fix becomes incredibly easier because of the single code base, and reduce development time as we discussed earlier, and also efforts and maintenance costs because obviously you don't have to write two separate code bases, so the effort is halved, and also the maintenance costs like the bug fixes, a single bug fix, and it will be applied to all the platforms unless it involves native code bug fix. So this is the advantage of using Flutter, one of the advantages. The next would be the fast development with the hot reload. Now, in 2025, Flutter Web has seen massive improvements in terms of hot reload, and you can also test it in 3.31 beta version. So Flutter Web now supports hot reload, and the reason why this is an incredible feature is because it enables developers to see the UI changes instantly without you having to restart the entire app. So even if there is a text change or any minor change, you can apply a hot reload and see it at that very instant. Earlier, what used to happen is you had to restart the entire application in order to view a change in Flutter Web. So, this improvement is going to save a lot of time and also effort. So, yeah, that is another advantage of using Flutter. Now, some of the improvements that were made in 2025 is enhanced platform integration. So, like discussed earlier, advancements in platform specific code was added to in Flutter Web, because of which now we can easily add some platform specific code without us having to add extra layers of code. So, because of this advancement, we can now have seamless communication between the Flutter and the platform specific code. So, it becomes a lot more easier now to add the native code. And this also reduces the need for custom integrations. So, obviously, it's going to save us a lot of time here because writing a custom integration is time consuming, and it's going to take in a lot of efforts as well. So with the advancement of platform specific code, now it has become a lot more easier to add the native code. Simplified development process for web apps that interact with native functionalities. So now it's a lot easier now to add the platform native code, and you should try this by taking up some personal project and adding native code to the application and to see and understand how it works, because adding native code to a Flutter app is I feel that it's very important to learn that. And I also have some videos where I have talked about how you can add native code to a Flutter app. It is required because when you add platform specific code to a Flutter application, you can take your Flutter app to a whole new level. You can modify the app's functionalities and make it um, much more better by having native implementations. So something that is beyond the capability of Flutter can be achieved by adding platform specific code. You can even start by adding something very basic, like adding code to where you want to access the alarm feature of Android. So you can write code for that and see how that works. So when Flutter is enhancing the platform integration, so we should also try and see how it's going to benefit us. So that is about enhanced platform integration. The second one is the hot reload, which I discussed earlier. It is now available to test in 3.31 beta. So hot reload enables developers to see the real-time changes without the actual need to restart the application. And like I said, it is a time-consuming. It saves you time because the hot reload is instant. And if you're working with a bigger Flutter web application, then that is going to take you some time for the app to rebuild. And when we are talking about hot reload, we apply hot reload a lot many times. So if you talk about restarting your app those many times, definitely you lose ample amount of time. So this is the hot reload uh, enhancement in Flutter Web is going to save you some time. Next, we have the better SEO and accessibility. Now, SEO has always been a topic in Flutter Web because some of the applications, like some of the websites built with Flutter Web, are so when we talk about building websites, some of the websites are heavily dependent on SEO. So those were so they dropped the idea of using Flutter because obviously Flutter did not have enough support for SEO. But as we see in the past couple of updates, the SEO has been added with better support, and hopefully in the future there will be the full support for SEO. But right now, it's not complete SEO support, but it has been enhanced a lot from the initial stages. So, the way SEO is enhanced is the text rendering and indexing has been improved. That means now the keywords that we add in our project can now be accessed from the search engine. So that it just means that there is a better support now for applications that are again single page applications like portfolio or a company profile or even blogs can be now thought of by with building Flutter. Again, there is no 100% SEO support, but it's improved from the beginning. So yeah, it's again a big enhancement. The next is the performance improvements. Obviously, performance is something that keeps improving with every update. And this update, the most recent update, sees optimization across the framework. that have led to reduced latency and faster rendering times, which means that the hot reload feature that we use uh, that has been improved by when the performance has been improved, and so the rendering time of the widgets is now much more faster with the most recent update, and that just contributes to better performance. And next we have impeller rendering engine advancements. So the renderer has been improved to provide smoother animations and graphics. And again, this is a big update because Flutter Web does need a better Flutter in general. Uh, the when the impeller keeps advancing or enhancing, that just means that the animations gets a lot more smoother, and also the graphics, it gets a lot more smoother and very pleasing. So this enhancement is again a big one, because with every update, if the animations and the graphics keep improving, that means that the quality of the app just keeps improving with every update, which is a huge thing actually. The next one, we have the Cupertino widgets update, where the latest release has seen some iOS design guideline updates that that to ensure a consistent look and feel for iOS style applications. So there are more design guidelines on the iOS end. And the next we have DevTools enhancements, where new features and improvements aiding developers in debugging and performance profiling. So this is again a big thing because performance optimization is again something which needs to be considered heavily when you're building scalable apps, and the DevTools enhancements means the tools or the tools that is required to monitor the performance of the application has now been enhanced, and this adds to the overall quality of the application, because now you have better tools to work with to monitor your app's performance, and also in debugging and performance profiling, because in performance optimization what happens is you will come to know exactly which areas of the app needs improvement and which areas of the app are lagging behind or they need to be modified. So this is a very important enhancement, as it can improve your app massively. And the DevTools enhancement keeps updating with every update, and it is important to always check what is the enhancement that has been done in the DevTools, because you will get a better idea of how you can monitor your app and how you can improve your app. So with every update, you can go through the guidelines and see what has been added and how you can actually use the update that has been made, and how you can use it in your application to improve the performance. The next one is the revised architectural guidelines. So this is a very big update actually, because the Flutter's official documentation for architectural guidelines has been updated, which means we now have a much more elaborated documentation which we can refer to, and a clearer guidance on how you can structure and organize the web apps, and also how we can build scalable web apps. Now, because Flutter Web did not have enough support in the previous year, so the architecture for web apps was something which wasn't discussed a lot. But in the 2025, the updates that we have seen talk about how you can architect your Flutter web app. And this is a little different from our mobile apps and the desktop apps. So that's the reason the documentation has been updated to give us an idea of how we can architect our app and more robust and efficient framework. So uh, I would definitely recommend you to check out the official documentation because it is a clear guideline on what is the type of architecture you should be using and what architecture will help you build scalable applications. And there is also a clear guidance on how you can structure and organize the web apps. Now, if you're somebody who has just started with Flutter, this can be a little overwhelming, but again, give it a read and you will understand just an idea of how much architecture is important to build scalable applications. And when you build an app with a better architecture, it becomes more robust and uh, yeah, Flutter in general is more robust and efficient framework also because of the improvements that have been made. So the final takeaway I would say is that after going through all of those enhancements, is Flutter web production ready in 2025? So, this again, because we haven't improved all the areas that needs improvement with 100% improvements. Again, this depends on your use case. Now, if you're building if you want app like experience, business tools, or if you want to build like a PWA, then yes, Flutter Web, you can go ahead with Flutter Web. So, app like experience and progressive web apps for business tools, you can go ahead with Flutter Web. But if you are building something that requires deep browser integrations or it needs ultra fast load times, then Flutter Web may not be the choice for you because, so like I said, the graphics and the animations have been worked with every update, but there is no ultra fast load times that you can achieve with Flutter Web, and comparatively, you can achieve it with the different platforms. So, definitely not with Flutter Web. And also, if you're trying to build a website that is heavily SEO dependent, again, Flutter Web may not be the choice for you because over the years, we have seen improvements in Flutter Web SEO support, but not to a point where you can completely depend on Flutter Web for the SEO. So that is again a take back, but maybe in the future releases, definitely this is going to be something which will be 100% covered, the SEO support. And yeah, so yeah, that is the takeaway. So it's a yes and a no, which completely depends on your use case. So for app like experience, business tools, or progressive web apps, we can go ahead with Flutter Web. But if your website is SEO dependent, requires deep browser integrations, or needs ultra fast load times, then Flutter Web may not be an ideal option. Also, if you are trying to build something like a website that is a single page application and requires minimal SEO support, then yes, you can go ahead with Flutter Web. So it completely depends on your use case and how you're managing to make it dependent on SEO. So that was my takeaway on is Flutter Web production ready in 2025. So that was all the updates that we had in 2025 so far. So obviously, there is going to be a lot more updates in the future. So keep an eye on them and do read the updates and try to get as much information from them as possible. and try all the features yourself, like the platform native code, for which I have two videos on DevMina YouTube, and I also have a video on how you can optimize performance for in Flutter applications. So you can definitely check that out. And if you have any questions, you can feel free to reach out to me. So these are my handles. Websites to these will also be shared in the chat area. So that was all for today. Thank you for joining, and please let me know if you have any questions. Any questions, you can reach out to me, or if you do not want to share it here, you can connect with me and discuss it. Any questions? Okay, I don't think there are any questions. Feel free to reach out to me. So, yeah, and I hope to see you all in the next session that we have. Thank you, everyone. See you.